So this is the 10th transmission. Koikimedia bring the world closer to your doorstep. This is the 10th transmission, and we are we're trying to um, go through this Punch newspaper right here to go through their headlines. Um, this is a breaking news. This is a breaking news. This is just coming in, and the former deputy governor of Ondo State, who is now the acting governor, Mr. Ayedatiwa, Lucky Ayedatiwa, has literally sacked the commissioners and governor and the aides of the former governor and late and former governor of Ondo State, Mr. Rotimi Akeredolu, who died last December. So the acting governor has sacked the commissioners. This is just coming in. This is 24th of January 2024. Today being a Wednesday. Koikimedia bring the world close. This is a test transmission, so bear with us. We're going live for just for some minutes. So, Mr. Lucky Ayedatiwa has sacked the commissioners and governors' aides in Ondo State. We can recall that Mr. Rotimi Akeredolu, the former governor, died on 27th of December 2023, just 2 days after the Christmas. So right here we're seeing now that the acting governor has sacked the commissioners and governors' aides. So let's read the article. Let's go through the article. The governor of Ondo State, Lucky Ayedatiwa, has dissolved the state executive council. The governor also relieved all senior special assistants and special assistants of their duties. In a statement by his chief press secretary, Ebenezer Adeniyan, on Wednesday, the governor said the development would take immediate effect. The statement read, all members of the cabinet are to immediately hand over to the permanent secretaries or the most senior administrative officers in their respective offices. All the affected officials are directed to hand over all government properties in their possessions. In their possession, I mean. The governor thanks the affected officials for their services and contributions to the development of the state. Quote and unquote. Ayedatiwa was on December 27, 2023, sworn in as the substantive governor of the state following the death of Governor Rotimi Akeredolu. Akeredolu, aged 67, passed away while undergoing treatment for a prostate cancer in a German hospital. Before his death, Akeredolu had transferred power to Ayedatiwa via a letter to the State House of Assembly on December 13, 2023, when he was to proceed on medical leave in Germany. The development followed the intervention of President Tinubu, who intervened in the crisis that resulted from the failure of Akeredolu to hand over to his deputy after he returned to the country from Germany in September. That was 2023. Although Akeredolu returned to Nigeria in the first week of September after a 3-month medical leave, he was operating from Ibadan, the Oyo State capital. The State House of Assembly had commenced an impeachment process against the deputy governor over allegations of gross misconduct. This led to a division in the State House, in the State Assembly and the State Executive Council, as well as the state chapter of the All Progressives Congress. In a bid to resolve the crisis, Tinubu met with the leadership of the Assembly and the State APC at the State House, Abuja, last month, where it was decided that Ayedatiwa should take over as the acting governor. Shortly before the swearing-in of Ayedatiwa, the special advisor to Akeredolu on junior matters and special duties, Mr. Dare Alagbaye, and the chief press secretary, Mr. Richard Olatunde, resigned from office. In the letter of resignation signed by the duo, Addressed to the office of the secretary to the state government, the aides cited the demise of the governor as the reason for the action. The letters came in some hours after the death of Akeredolu. Alagbaye's letter was titled "Resignation of Appointment as Special Adviser Union Matters and Special Duties." The letter read, "I write to refer to the subject above and to resign my appointment as Special Adviser Union Matters and Special Duties with effect from today, Wednesday, 27 December 2023. My decision to resign is based on the unfortunate death of my principal, a fearless and honest leader, Governor Alakunrin Oluwarotimi Odunwayo Akeredolu, son, CON, whom I am loyal to even in death. I sincerely thank His Excellency for the opportunity granted me to serve in his administration as a member of the State Executive Council, first as the head of service and now as special advisor. Please accept the assurances of my esteemed regards." Olatunde, in his letter titled "Resignation Letter," partly read, "It is with a heavy heart and deep sadness that I tender my resignation as the Chief Press Secretary to the Governor, effective from today, Wednesday, 27, 2023, of course." It further stated, quote unquote, "My decision to resign from office is hinged on the unfortunate and untimely death of our leader, principal, and father figure, Governor Oluwarotimi Akeredolu, son, CON," and have the quote back on it. So that is the update concerning the Ondo State Ondo State crisis. We can't call it crisis because it has been resolved. So Koikimedia bring you the world closer to your doorstep. So we review another headline. Let's go back to another headline and review it. So we are on we're in Punch newspaper right now to review some headlines. So this is a test transmission once again. Koikimedia bring you the world closer to your doorstep. So let's read one more headline. Let's read one more headline. So let's read one more headline. Let's read one more headline. So the update right now is Aiyedatiwa has sacked the commissioners and governor aides. So yesterday we could remember that on our page on Koikimedia page on Koikimedia website, we reported that the state secretary, I mean the United States Secretary of State, Mr. Anthony Blinken, who is on a tour to West Africa countries, pledged $45 million for security fund for Nigeria and other West Africa countries concerning the terrorism going on in the region. So let's go through the news. So let's go through the news. So as you can see, Anthony Blinken proceeded to Nigeria yesterday, Tuesday, 23rd of January 2024, after he departed from Abidjan. Abidjan is Côte d'Ivoire, where the AFCON matches are being played currently, the 2024 AFCON. So United States Secretary of State Anthony Blinken on Tuesday said the US would provide an additional $45 million to West African nations as part of a plan to battle instability, bringing total funding under the year-old program to nearly $300 million, according to reports by AFP and Reuters. So that means this program has been a long program because of the terrorism going on in West Africa. As you can see, we all know that in Mali, in Niger, Nigeria, and Cote d'Ivoire, there is ongoing terrorism by jihadists that started from Mali. Okay, let's continue. In a four-nation tour of African democracies, Blinken met separately Tinubu with President Bola Tinubu and Ivorian President Alassane Ouattara. The trip was to discuss US-African partnerships over trade, climate, infrastructure, health security, and other issues. It follows a summit in Washington with African leaders in December 2022. Blinken sought progress combating coups and extremism in West Africa in talks with two key leaders as he pointed to Ivory Coast as a model. I think we should let's just go back to what happened in 2023, before the end of 2023. As you can remember that in West Africa, in Niger, there was a coup. There was a military coup, and I think Bazoum has not been released yet. Mr. Mohamed Bazoum, the country's president, the ousted president. Okay, so let's continue. Let's continue right now. AFP report that while in Abidjan, Blinken hailed Ivory Coast stand against last year's coup in Niger. So once again, there was a coup in Niger. As you can remember, the transition leaders are still the one leading the country. The military leaders, they are still the one leading the country. And it's so let's continue. Against last year's coup in Niger and his approach of building security together. By investing economically to combat extremism in northern areas bordering Mali and Burkina Faso. As you can remember, Burkina Faso leader, Mr. Ibrahim Traoré, he was almost assassinated. Burkina Faso military leader. Burkina Faso is also being ruled by military after a coup in last 2-3 years, I think. So Mr. Ibrahim Traoré has been trying to lead the country to make the country great again, but it was almost assassinated, but it was a failed attempt anyways. So let's continue. Quote and unquote, I have to applaud the approach that is being taken by Cote d'Ivoire, working with communities, listening to communities. That is Blinken talking. So let's continue. Making sure that their security forces understand the needs, the concerns of communities. Blinken said alongside Ouattara, which is the president of Ivory Coast, Cote d'Ivoire, otherwise known as Cote d'Ivoire. So let's continue. I think that can serve as a very powerful model for other countries, he added. That is Blinken. Blinken added that he thinks that can serve as a very powerful model for other countries. So he took Cote d'Ivoire for a model for African countries. So let's continue. We spent a lot of time discussing mutual security challenges. Blinken said. He continued. We appreciate Ivory Coast leadership in the fight against extremism and violence. We have increased military training by 15 times and are investing in civil protection in Ivory Coast, Blinken added, according to Reuters reports. Blinken promised to boost cooperation on the ground with Ivory Coast, largely through trainings of its security forces. Last year was marred by security challenges in Africa, including a major coup that toppled democratic leadership in Niger, that is Niger Republic, after the coup. This is just as terrorists also continue to strike in Nigeria, such as the Christmas Eve killing of close to 200 people in Plateau State. Plateau State is not central Nigeria. You can remember a 3-day attack that happened in Plateau State killed at least 200 people. I mean, at least 150 people. That is close to 200. Okay, so let's continue. And most recently, the kidnapping epidemic plaguing the country. As we all know that the country Nigeria is currently witnessing a surge in kidnap cases. Kidnapping here and there in Nigeria. The country is no more safe, even in Lagos. In Lagos, in Ogun State, in Ondo State, Kwara State, Osun State, Ekiti State, and many other states in Nigeria witnessing kidnapping. But we not fall victim, but it will eventually happen in Nigeria because no matter how we pray, this country is, uh, this country has been, you know, this country is spoiled already. So we don't know what to do about it except to keep telling people that this country is saying is completely finished. So that is all we can. That's how far we can go. So that's how far we can go. Okay, let's check another headline. Just one more. So let's check another headline. Wow, wow, 3 billion naira fraud. 3 billion naira fraud. Níbi táwọn kan tí rí tọ́ọ̀tì rí 500 naira jẹun 1000 naira jẹun eré ti jí 3 billion. That's crazy. Ah, 3 billion naira fraud. Let's check this news. I think this is the news. I think this is the latest news. 3 billion naira fraud. Okay. Oyoita others awarded contract to own firms. EFCC alleges concerning 3 billion fraud case. So Oyoita is a former head of the civil service of the Federation, that is Nigeria. So Mrs. Winifred Oyoita, the eighth witness called by the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission, the EFCC, Ama Adama Bello, at the Federal High Court on Tuesday, said former head of service Mrs. Winifred Oyoita and others awarded contracts to companies they incorporated or had stakes in. Like, let's explain that place. It means that these people, I mean, this former minister, Winifred Oyoita, like, she had a share in a company. I mean, not the company, many companies, in some companies. So she eventually awarded contracts to that companies that, when someone has stake in a company, that means he has already has shared in a company. Now in Dangote, that Dangote you are saying, Aliko Dangote, there are many people that have shares with him. You understand? There are many people, you just buy shares. You buy shares, you have, they are also a stakeholder. So Oyoita is a stakeholder in many companies, and he actually used her power. That's what we call misusing of power. That's authority stealing in Nigeria. Although you don't already pass armed robbery now, so now. So when you have the power, you can do anything you like. So that's how the leaders in Nigeria, the elites, they misuse their power. Mrs. Winifred Oyoita, let me just address her as Mrs. Winifred. She was a former head of the civil service of the Federation, civil service. So she eventually awarded contracts to companies they incorporated or had stakes in, according to EFCC. So EFCC reviewed this in the court on Tuesday. So so EFCC brought 8 witnesses to the court. Okay, this is the 8 witnesses. The 8th witness is giving a testimony about Oyoita. So let's continue. Oyoita and others are standing trial on the allegations of fraud regarding duty toll allowance. Hey, 8 billion. Hey, who know? Okay, we are going to research who Oyoita is. So I'm monitor Oyoita jail later, but let's continue for now. Oyoita and others are standing trial on the allegations of fraud regarding duty tour allowance, ESTA codes, conference fees, and receiving kickbacks on contracts to the tune of 3 billion naira. Oh! 3 billion naira! Kí ló wá dé? 3 billion naira! Wow! 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 Oyoita was in March 2020 arraigned by the EFCC alongside her special assistant, Ubong Effiok, Frontline Age Global Services Limited, Asanaya Projects Limited, Gaba Huma and its companies, Slopes International Limited, and Good Deal Investment Limited. Hey. So these are the companies Oyoita tí wọ́n award companies tó award contract 3 billion naira sí, so which is a fraud. So see, this is not a matter of ọmọ Igbo, ọmọ Hausa, ọmọ kíní kan, ọmọ Yorùbá ó lè ní wọ́n kíní kan. This is a general problem. Eléyìí kò ń ṣe Thomas pé ọmọ Igbo ni ó máa jalè, ó máa ṣe kíní kan. Do you remember Madueke? Dezeni Madueke. I don't want to know if she's Igbo or something. At least the person ẹni tó gbé owó fún, tó gbé billions of naira àbí dollar fún 11 billion àbí kankan tó gbé fún First Bank Director tẹ́lẹ̀, ọmọ tó ń ṣe governor ní Zamfara ń sìn, Dáre àbí kí lórúkọ ẹ̀, ọmọ Hausa Yorùbá kan báyìí. So ìyẹn náà kí la máa fi ìyẹn náà ṣe pé kíní. So it is a general problem. When they give them power, they will not misuse the power. So other defendants in the suit are U&U Global Services Limited, belonging to Mr. Effiok, and Prince Mega Logistics Limited. Hey! Okay, let's continue. They all pleaded not guilty to the allegations levied against them. Wow! Kí ló tí wọ́n ṣe gbóògùn fún wọn? Kọ́ gbóògùn fún wọn ní pé ó yá ẹgbàá. Ó yá ẹ plead not guilty sí nǹkan tá fi kàn yín. Ẹ̀sùn tá fi kàn yín yìí ni pé okay, ẹ̀sùn tá fi kàn yín yìí o, ẹ jẹ́wọ́ pé ẹ ṣe, ó yá ẹgbẹ́ ògùn gẹ́gẹ́ fi búra. But you know the western court, àwọn kọ́ọ̀tì tó ń ṣe é sìn yìí kò ju pé kọ́kọ́ wà nínú kíní, kọ́ wà nínú kéèjì kan, kọ́ gbé Bible wọn lówó àbí Quran. We are not talking about religion here, so let's continue. All plead not guilty, like wọ́n tún parọ́ ní pé sẹ́ẹ̀ irọ́ èmi ò ṣe bẹ́ẹ̀, irọ́ lẹ pamọ́ mi. Okay, let's continue. As they resumed proceedings on Tuesday, Bello, who is the chief superintendent of EFCC and the head of special investigation team, was fielded as the 8th prosecution witness. Òun ló ń testify. Òun lẹ́ni kẹjọ tó ń testify against àwọn criminals wọ̀nyẹn. So that is Mr. Bello. Okay, so let's continue. Led in evidence by the EFCC's lawyer, Farouk Abdullah, Bello said his team received intelligence from the office of the EFCC chairman sometime in 2019, while Oyoita was still a permanent secretary. I never rántí wọn tí Fẹlá kọ. Fẹlá, may so rest in peace. Dem go dey friend to journalist, friend to commissioner, friend to head of state, friend to minister, friend to permanent secretary, friend to minister, start to steal money, start to steal money like Obasanjo and Abiola, international thief. Olè làwọn people yìí. Your leaders in Nigeria, they don't care about you. Like, they don't care about you. They don't care. Bí o ti jẹun àbí o ti jẹun kí ló kàn wọ́n? Ṣé ọmọ ẹni kan tó ń gbé ní òkùnkùn Michael? Ṣé ọmọ ẹni tó ń jẹ́ bẹ́ẹ̀? Ṣé ọmọ Súlè Gàmbàrí kan tó ń gbé ní kínní? Ṣé ọmọ Adéoyè Sílífà? Ṣé ọmọ ẹni tó ń jẹ́ bẹ́ẹ̀? They don't care bí o ti jẹun àbí o ti jẹun. So many people suffering and smiling. Some are not even smiling, but they're just frustrated. They don't know if they want to talk, they will go after them. Ẹ wá wo àwọn tó ń tọrọ báyà nísìnyí time tàwa yìí, eléyìí jẹ́ 3 billion naira. Hey. So, quote and unquote, the intelligence boarded on the activities The first defendant was the permanent secretary then, and other staff including Efio, the seventh defendant. Ìyẹn olùjẹ́jọ́ ìkeje, òun náà pè ní seventh defendant. Ẹni tó ń jẹ́jọ́ ló máa ń pè ní defendant. Ẹni tó ń jẹ́jọ́, ẹni tó pe ẹjọ́, òun ló máa ń pè ní complainant. Ẹni tó pe ẹjọ́, tó pè ọ́ lẹ́jọ́ ní pé ìwọ mo lọ sùn ẹ ní pé o ṣe gbá kan fún mi, o ṣe gbá kan fún mi, òun ló pè ní olùpẹjọ́, like ẹni tó pẹjọ́. But ẹni tó ń jẹ́jọ́ lọ́wọ́ òun defendant. So let's continue. The team started the investigation. In the course of the investigation, we called for documents. The nature of the intelligence was such that the first and seventh defendants and a host of others were using their office to get contracts for companies they incorporated or had an interest in. Hey! Nǹkan tó ń sọ yẹn ṣó yẹ yìí, like ó ní pé ó lu agbára ọ́fíìsì wọ́n fi ń àwọ́dù contract fún àwọn companies tí àwọn ti ní stake nínú ẹ̀, tí wọ́n ti ní interest nínú ẹ̀. Kai. Okay, let's continue. The witness said the team invited Oyoita and her special assistant, Efiok, having received analyzed documents relating to the intelligence. Intelligence tí wọ́n fi gẹ́ẹ̀tì nǹkan táwọn pípọ̀ yẹn ṣe, ọ̀ràn tó dá, ọ̀ràn àlefẹ́ pé wọ́n dáràn ni wọ́n ti dáràn. Ọ̀ràn ló dá, bẹ́ẹ̀ ni, ọ̀ràn ni. So, according to him, it was discovered that the first defendant was the beneficial owner. Olùjẹ́jọ́ àkọ́kọ́ òun gangan ni beneficial owner of two companies, Frontline Ace Global Services Limited and Asonaya Projects Limited. Like òun gangan ni ó ní two companies yẹn olùjẹ́jọ́ àkọ́kọ́. Bello also told the court, ẹ̀mọ́ tó ń jẹ́ Bello, òun gangan ló investigate kìíní yẹn lọ́wọ́, so òun gangan ló máa jẹ́ witness torí òun ló investigate. So Bello sọ fún kóòtù, ó sọ fún ilé ẹjọ́ ní pé investigation revealed that Oyoita maintained two accounts. Ó ní àkáǹtì méjì tẹ́ pé ó ń lò lọ́wọ́ in a new generation bank for Frontline Ace Global Services Limited. Ẹmọ bank tó ń jẹ́ new generation, ẹ̀nà kébẹ̀ ní ẹni kan tó ti ṣe aláìsìn tó dá ẹ̀mí ara ẹ̀ légbodò, new generation bank ní Ìkòròdú ní ìpínlẹ̀ Èkó ń bẹ̀ ní ọ̀sẹ̀ méjì sẹ́yìn àbí káńkẹ́sàn méjì sẹ́yìn náà, new generation bank. Ẹ̀ka search new generation bank ká mọ báńkì ọ̀hún náà. So àwọn báńkì wọn yẹn tẹ́lẹ̀ òbí kò lórúkọ yẹn, wọ́n lórúkọ àwọn báńkì tó ti pẹ́ ní Nàìjíríà ni o, new generation bank PLC. Báńkì tó ti pẹ́ gan ni. Ó ń bẹ lápapá náà, ó ń bẹ lájàwé estate lápapá, ó ń bẹ ní Mushin. Báńkì yẹn náà ó ṣe kínní. So àwọn báńkì yẹn ló máa ń lò fi commit àwọn crimes àtàwọn atrocities yẹn. So let's continue. It was discovered that the first defendant severally sat. It was discovered that the first defendant severally sat as chairman, CEO of Frontline Ace Global Services Limited, where she issued both resolutions to open the said account. He added. The presiding judge, Justice James Omotosho, adjourned the matter to January 26th for the continuation of trial. January 26th, ìyẹn ọjọ́ méjì sí tó máa fi di ọjọ́ Friday nsìn, wọ́n máa bẹ̀rẹ̀, wọ́n máa continue ẹjọ́ yẹn. So adájọ́ yẹn ó ti sún ọjọ́ ó fẹ́ sáré lọ collate nǹkan tó sáré sọ lọ́jọ́ yẹn. So ó fẹ́ sáré lọ collate ẹ̀ because ọ̀rọ̀ yẹn ò gbọ́dọ̀ pọ̀ jù, so ọ̀rọ̀ yẹn gbọ́dọ̀ níyànjú. So on the 26th, which is Friday, wọ́n máa continue ẹjọ́ yìí. I think we are going to follow this thing because it's a fraud case, $3 billion fraud case. This is the defendant, the main defendant, Oyoita. So òun ni former head of the civil service of the federation. So let's continue. So that's how far we can go on the Punch newspaper. We can check another paper. Let's check Sahara Reporters. Let's search Sahara Reporters. Oh, Gazette, People's Gazette, People's People's Gazette, People's Gazette, People's Gazette. Ó sì máa ń gbé àwọn kìíní yẹn wá díẹ̀díẹ̀. So uh, ẹ kà wo headline bíi méjì lórí People's Gazette. So ìjà wo headline méjì lórí People's Gazette. Okay, People's Gazette sì ń lò lọ́wọ́. Okay, page will respond. So I exit as well. So we go back. Okay, let's go up. So that is People's Gazette. People's Gazette ṣì máa ń gbé àwọn news kọ̀ọ̀kan wá. So let's continue. So lẹ́yìn ilé a máa wo international news bíi méjì sí mẹ́ta. So let's check it out. So àti kálí ẹ̀ tẹ́lẹ̀ Governor Ayédatiwa ó dissolve Ondo cabinet àti kálí tẹ́lẹ̀ lórí Punch newspaper. So let's continue. Ẹ wo nǹkan tí Tinubu yìí sọ. Ó ní my administration's intervention in oil gas sector will increase investment value. Ìyẹn Tinubu, bàbá Tinubu, ọmọlúdú ọdẹ. Ewu tí rèé o. US finalizes Abacha loot lawsuit with Atiku Bagudu to transfer $30 million to Tinubu's shady budget minister. Hey, ẹ̀já ka eléyìí. Ó dàbí pé àná ni wọ́n publish eléyìí January 23, 2024. Eléyìí gangan ni ẹ̀ka ka eléyìí báyìí. President Ilele Bola Tinubu, President in Nigeria. This is Anthony Blinken, US Secretary of State. Eléyìí ni Atiku Bagudu, àwọn tó ń jẹ́ bẹ́ẹ̀ bọ́ a máa check ẹ̀. So the United States ó ti finalize the Abacha loot lawsuit pẹ̀lú Atiku Bagudu. Who is Atiku Bagudu? So ohun tí wọ́n sọ tó ń gbìyànjú láti sọ nígbà ni pé wọ́n fẹ́ transfer $30 million sí Tinubu. So budget minister ló máa receive owó yẹn. A máa padà sí orí péjì yẹn. So sorry, lábẹ́ ní sùwà kí ní ẹ̀rọ sáré crash. So a fẹ́ ka átíkù ibẹ̀ yẹn because ohun tó ń ṣẹlẹ̀ ni pé lórí ọ̀rọ̀ Abacha, lórí ọ̀rọ̀ owó tí Abacha tó kó tó jí, gbogbo alamọ tó ń jẹ́ Sani Abacha. He was a military dictator ní in the 90s I think. So àbí in the 70s àbí kọ̀ọ̀kan. So let's continue. So mi ò ṣùgbọ́n pa iye tí ó ṣe military dictator Nigeria gbà ẹ̀. So US finalizes Abacha lawsuit. Loot lawsuit. Loot lele like pé ó loot Nigeria. So wọ́n file lawsuit against ẹ̀. So US finalizes Abacha loot lawsuit with Atiku Bagudu. So wọ́n fẹ́ transfer $30 million sí àkáǹtì budget minister. So àwọn People Gazette wọ́n brand the budget minister as shady. Okay, so let's continue. So ẹ̀ka kátìkù yẹ kó lè bá yé wa dáadáa. The United States has conveyed its willingness to resolve the lawsuit filed against returning Abacha loot. Ní kó fi dá gbogbo ohun tí Abacha tó kó kúrò ní Nàìjíríà tó kó lọ sókè òkun. Let's continue. Signaling the potential transfer of yet another $30 million to Atiku Bagudu, President Bola Tinubu's controversial budget and national planning minister. Hey! Ohun tí ọmọ Hausa fi ṣe kíní báyìí. Òun tún ní Atiku Bagudu, òun ní ọmọ Hausa tó jẹ́ àbíbíyá Fúlàní dẹ́ni. Òun ló jẹ́ budget and national planning minister. People's Gazette, he brand there as controversial minister, like ọ̀nà wà controversial, wà shady. So so inú account yẹ no kò ń ṣe account ẹ inú ọ̀dọ̀ ẹ òun kọ́ ló máa receive owó yẹ fún on behalf of the nation. So òun nìyẹn. So let's continue. Filings seen by People's Gazette showed American authorities and Mr. Bagudu, represented by his brother Ibrahim Bagudu, eléyìí tún fi àbúrò ẹ̀ fi represent ibo la dé nílùú ìgbà tí wọ́n náà. Kí làbúrò ẹ̀ tún wá nínú ìjọba? Ìwọ ni mínísítà, ṣé ó ti kú ni tí àbúrò ẹ̀ fi máa represent ẹni kíní ní international kíní? Let's continue. Filings seen by People's Gazette showed American authorities and Mr. Bagudu, represented by his brother Ibrahim Bagudu, have stipulated in a January 5, 2024 joint status report to the United States District Court for the District of Columbia in Washington, D.C., that an agreement had been reached by the parties over funds trapped in a bank account linked to the Bagudus. So, ìyẹn túmọ̀ sí pé àwọn owó kan ti wà trapped nínú àkáǹtì kan báyìí tí ó link mọ́ Bagudu, òun àti àbúrò ẹ̀, Bagudu àtàbúrò ẹ̀. Bagudu dẹ̀ ló ń pè ní òun ni mínísítà Tinubu kan ló jẹ́ budget and national planning minister. So investigation ti reveal ni pé àwọn owó kan ó ti ń bẹ lákàǹtì ẹ̀ ní òkè òkun náà tó dẹ̀ jẹ́ owó Abacha loot. So let's continue. The Deutsche Bank domiciled assets of derived properties run by the Bagudus in the British island of Jersey have been identified as stolen from the Nigeria Treasury during the military junta in the 90s. Èyí tó bá wọ́n ti ta sọ́nsìn láìpẹ́ ni pé ọ̀rọ̀ Abacha náà ṣì ní ọ̀rọ̀ yẹn. Àwọn owó tá Abacha kó kúrò ní Nàìjíríà tó kọ́ sókè òkun tí ó fi túlẹ̀ Nàìjíríà ṣe tó fi lọ tún ilẹ̀kùn òkè òkun ṣe tó tọ́jú sínú àkáǹtì wọn lọ́hùn táwọn yẹn yọ tó ń yọ táàsì nínú ẹ̀. Kò sí bẹ́ẹ̀ máa tọ́jú owó síbẹ̀ lọ́wọ́ ní ọ̀tá ló máa yọ táàsì wọn. Ẹ̀yin kan you know, I don't know the position. I just don't know how to even brand them. Wọ́n máa kó owó kúrò bí wọ́n á lọ máa lọ fi wọ́n á lọ kó sínú àkáǹtì lọ́hùn, wọ́n á lọ máa fi san táàsì lọ́hùn, táàsì wọ́n máa kó sínú àkáǹtì wọn lọ́hùn, wọ́n á máa yọ táàsì ní owó yẹn, wọ́n á máa yọ táàsì ní owó yẹn. So ẹ̀yin tún ayé wọn ṣe níbẹ̀ yẹn ibi báyìí ìyà wọn ń jí àwọn èèyàn. Let's continue. Plaintiff had circulated proposed settlement document to the parties. Over the past 2 months, the parties have reviewed the exchanged comments and edits to those papers. The January 5 update to the court said, quote unquote, the proposed settlement, as detailed in prior filings, would also involve the resolution of 2 related actions in the United Kingdom. Let's continue. Given the multifaceted nature of the resolution, further time is required for the parties to receive and review documents specific to the UK proceedings from their foreign counterparts, and for the parties to finalize and receive authority to execute all of the settlement documents. The parties added, previously unclaimed, it was slated to be refunded before Mr. Bagudu began laying claims to it, having originally been part of the callous corruption that assailed the military regime of Sani Abacha. Ṣé ká ní pé may so rest in peace ni àbí kí ni ká tiẹ̀ sọ? Olúwa nìkan ló Ọlọ́run ọba nìkan ló lè sọ bóyá you know. So let's not talk about it. So okay, an amicus argument entered in the case on January 18 by US-based Nigerian lawyer Emmanuel Ogebe. Ìyẹn náà àgbáwò tiẹ̀. Kò ní gbowó kẹ̀. Ṣé ilẹ̀kọ́ níṣẹ́ ni tó fi di lọ́ọ̀yà ni? Okay, Mr. Mr. Emmanuel Ogebe òun ni lọ́ọ̀yà tí ó ń represent kìíní ẹ̀. So according to argument, the argument suggested that at least $30 million would be paid to the Nigeria budget minister and his family members who have fought for decades to keep the roots traced to them following Mr. Abacha's death in 1998. Woo! Interesting. Ìgbẹ́kọ̀ tó ṣẹlẹ̀ mí báyìí. Wọ́n ní pé budget minister Tinubu yẹ budget and finance minister Tinubu yẹ wọn àti family ẹ̀ wọ́n claim owó $30 million tí wọ́n bá ní tí wọ́n chase ẹ̀ tó jẹ́ pé títí Abacha náà ṣì náà ni wọ́n ní wọ́n claim owó yẹn láti fún decades maybe 10 years wọ́n pè decades, so that is about 1998 2008 2018 2000. So that is for 2 decades or 3 decades, I think. So let's continue. The details comes as US Secretary of State Anthony Blinken arrives in Nigeria. Anthony Blinken dé Nigeria lánàá for a brief meeting with Mr. Tinubu, whose administration is seen as crucial to resolving the raging political crisis in Niger Republic. The US State Department, which Mr. Blinken leads, is a major party to the effort to seize illicit assets from the Bagudus for onward return to the Nigerian people. Somebody return ẹ̀ sí Nigeria náà, àwọn owó èlò fẹ́ gbà. Ṣé àkáǹtì wa ló fẹ́ lọ ní àbí àkáǹtì national federal account kó ló máa wọlé sí ni? Tọ́lé máa pín mọ́ra wọn lọ́wọ́. So let's continue. The Nigerian government has also aimed international concerns over the recent upsurge in insecurity that saw the Christmas Eve massacre of scores of civilians, mostly Christians, in the central Plateau state. In a similar case brewing in France, French sources, àwọn sources kan ní French, wọ́n inform Gazette ní December pé Mr. Bagudu was preventing the repatriation of $150 million in Abacha loot to Nigeria, with officials further adding that he wanted a $30 million cut from the fund. Ìyẹn túmọ̀ sí pé $150 million Abacha loot kan wà tẹ́ pé wọ́n fẹ́ dá padà. Mr. Bagudu yìí tó jẹ́ budget minister ó wá ń ṣe àti block yẹ láti má padà wá sí Nàìjíríà because òun fẹ́ yọ $30 million nínú ẹ̀. Ǹjẹ́ wo ìtẹ̀ ti tẹ èèyàn kan lọ́wọ́ rí tó jẹ́ ọmọ Nàìjíríà, just ordinary person, $30 million? Can you imagine? Fún èèyàn kan nìkan, èèyàn kan fẹ́ yọ $30 million kúrò nínú $150 million ó fẹ́ sọ di ti ẹnìkan. So ó ń ṣe àti stop repatriation $150 million sí Nàìjíríà nínú owó tá Abacha ti jí. Okay, let's continue. So ọ̀rọ̀ ẹ wá dé court ní US. So let's continue.